So I found myself joining the blood gang when I lost my best friend to gun violence. He was 14. He was almost 14 years old. Me and him both went to school together, and what happened was when I lost him, I think at that moment I also lost myself, because this was a guy I used to sit on the bench and talk about what we were going to do once we get older for the community. Same thing I'm doing now, I'm doing it now because me and him used to talk about it. But he got killed. So when he got killed, my grades started going down. I stopped playing basketball, a lot of other things. And then the one person that I thought would come to my aid or support me wasn't the ones that did it. It was drug dealers and gang members. They faked like they was giving me the support that I needed. I couldn't really talk to my moms or family members because they really couldn't identify, because they was going through some traumatic experience as well. Living in a toxic neighborhood, infested by drugs, infested by gangs, infested by gun violence. This became normal to them. So they couldn't even, when you live in the life of this, like a lot of individuals don't really live this life. They can talk about it, rap about it, but when you really seeing it happen in front of you at a young age, seeing people getting killed right in front of you, these type of things affect you for long term, right? And then when it did, I started to see myself taking a downslope.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only because, again, the support wasn't really there. People was dealing with their own issues, their own traumatic experiences, and even if you brought it to them, they'd be like, "Hey, man, life goes on." That was the saying. Yo, life goes on. You can't harbor your feelings or forever. And these are the things you don't tell a young man. You don't tell a young man this, right? Mm-hmm. All the time. Oh, yo, men don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. These are wrong. These are wrong things to tell any young man. It is okay to cry, definitely if you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that later on in life, later on in years, that it's all right to cry. It's all right to express your feelings. It's all right to know that somebody said something wrong to you that it offended you, and you have the right to speak on it. I just started adapting to what was around me. Everything that was around me, I started adapting to it. The clothes, the girls, the selling drugs, the money, and going out to the nightlife, things of this nature, seeing money that I've never seen before in my life, and picking up these bad habits of gang, right? Gang initiation, gang violence, et cetera, et cetera. And then here I go. I make the wrong move. I run into this big brick wall. I get caught taking drugs out of town to Maryland, and boom. Here you go. 5 years for every state you pass. Now you're facing 20 years in prison. Mm-hmm. So when I tell my story, I let the young kids know, man, it's all a facade. It's all a facade when you seeing something that's really not your dream, it's somebody else's. These are not the images that you thought of when you was younger. These are somebody else's images that was placed or embedded in you. And if you want to be a leader, you got to go back to where you first started from. You got to deprogram yourself. Deprogram yourself from all the memories or the things that people put inside you, and find your own dreams and find your own purpose. So that's what I did. I went deep down inside. It took me almost dying to find my true purpose. And my true purpose is healing. Healing young guys just like me, young girls just like me, came from where the area I came from, Black and brown kids, that's going through traumatic experiences without the help of family members or friends. Now we got to support them. We got to show them how to get out of that dark hole and bring them back to the light. My turning point when I almost lost my life in it. 5 COs, 5 correctional officers beat me down. And they broke both sides of my ribs and left me inside of solitary confinement for 90 days.
So how old were you?
I was 15.
Oh my gosh.
So I was 15 years old, laying on the ground with my lunch, my breakfast, and my dinner for 90 days on the floor. So I haven't eaten for 90 days. A nurse came her first time at the job. She seen me on the floor, and she begged the COs to open the door and to address my medical condition. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here now. And I thank her for that.
Wow.
So that was one of my turning points.
Wow.
Now I still had to deal with the trauma, right? The trauma of, oh well, I'm a young adult, and I have these grown men beating up on me, right? Never had to deal with that in the streets. I never had to deal with that nowhere in a household, but now it happened here. So what conditions, or what can I do now to change my conditions? And that's what I did. I started studying. I started studying political science while I was in prison, right? I started taking up social work classes. I started learning about mental health and first aid. I became a peer specialist. And then when I came home, I went to school of ITM New School to be a credible messenger. And that right there helped me polish out my wrinkles that I had, right? I had to iron out some of the wrinkles in me. Just identifying, being present, right? Identifying the trauma, right? You know, a lot of us, man, we see these young kids walking around with their pants off their butt. We see them arguing with their girls in the streets. Most of us say, look, it's not my business. I'm walking away from it. I don't care, right? No, that's the first thing that you did wrong. Sometimes when you address an issue with a kid, now they noticing that you see them. I'm not just another kid in the community that's going through the same thing other kids are going through. It always starts with one. And if you can change one, or you can hit one, you can change hundreds, you can hit thousands, you can hit millions. It always starts with one. You got to start identifying the trauma that these young kids are going through. They have underlying things that they're dealing with that nobody really knows about, their parents don't know about, but they'll come out completely, I swear to God, to a stranger and tell their whole life story. It always been like that. There's nothing new under the sun. A stranger can get so many things told to them just by sitting there and listening. That's one. Two, being present, man. You know, a lot of people, some kids don't have father figures. Some kids don't have mother figures, right? Some people have the misrepresentations of leaders in their life. You have to start bringing the leaders that are there, the ones that they seem that it's not as far-fetched, like a teacher, a coach, you know, lawyers, whoever. Bring them into their face. Show them that, look, this is a Black coach. This is a Hispanic coach. This is a Black teacher. This is a Hispanic teacher. This is a Black lawyer. This is a Hispanic lawyer. Bring these type of people in front of these kids and tell them, look, he lived here. He came from here. This is what they're doing. Show them that it's not far-fetched. Dreams can be catched. You can catch a dream.